Well, hello everyone, my name is Zwiggojr and welcome back to probably one of the most interesting challenges I've ever done. You've all seen Small Hand beat Pokemon Platinum without taking any damage. So today I wanted to try the same but with Pokemon Soulsilver. I won't be doing it like him though, he saved after every gym and I will allow myself to save after every gym and after every rival battle. So I make it a little bit easier on myself. This video will also be in two parts. In this part we will be taking on the Johto region, in the next part we will be taking on the Kanto and Red, and as well as the Elite Four rematch. So any amount of damage I take in this run will result in a reset to the last save point, whether that be a gym fight or a rival battle. This challenge will basically have to be one-shotting everything or just getting very lucky, but also a lot of strategizing. You'll see what I mean by that later on. You guys will get more details about the entire run while I go through it, but right now I want to give a word to our sponsors of this video. A huge thanks to the sponsor of this video, Surfshark VPN. Have you ever just wanted to watch your favorite show on Netflix but it's geo-blocked in your country? I mean, I certainly have. But with Surfshark VPN, you don't have that problem anymore because you can change your country immediately. Oh, so you're normally French. Oh, boop, right now you're from England. Just like that. Easy peasy. Now, that's not all Surfshark can bring you. Have you ever just invited your friends over and talked about, I don't know, maybe Pokemon cards, and all of a sudden your entire browser page and everything, Instagram, Facebook, is full of Pokemon card ads? That's called data mining. Well, with Surfshark VPN, your private information will be protected and you will be way harder to trace. So now you can talk about whatever you want without having to worry about ads popping up everywhere. You can download Surfshark VPN down at the link in the description, but you can also use the code ZWIGGO for 85% off, as well as a 3-month free trial. It can't get any cheaper, so get Surfshark VPN in the link in the description right now. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Let's get right into it. After seeing Small Hand's run, I feel like I'm insane for trying this run, so that's what I'm calling my character. And then go ahead and pick up my starter, which is going to be Totodile. I know Cyndaquil does get access to Quick Attack, but Totodile is just stronger in general, and he's my favorite of the three, so I'm gonna name him a unit because he's an absolute unit. We then go to our mom to say our last goodbyes until we head on to this crazy adventure. This old man is fast AF, but apparently it's just because he has some running shoes on. I still don't understand why running shoes give you the power to run like the Flash. After I get my Flash shoes, it's time for us to go ahead and kill all of the Kakuna in the upcoming route. There are also Pidgeys and Weedles in the grass over here, but we're only going to be fighting the Kakunas because they cannot attack us back, so we won't ever take damage from them. They give a solid 40 XP per Kakuna, which is the most you can get up until this point in the game, which is also very good. The downside is that they have a pretty damn low encounter rate. So sometimes I would have to walk for 5 minutes straight and not fight a single Kakuna, but later on this is no problem anymore, because at level 8 I can also one-shot Weedles. And eventually my Totodile reached level 13 and learned Bite, so now I can one-shot Pidgey, Kakuna, and Weedle without any problems. Before evolving my Totodile into Croconaw, I went ahead and picked up the Pokédex and the Mystery Egg, and then went back to grinding up to level 18 so that he would evolve into Croconaw, and now I am 100% sure that we can one-shot the Chikorita from our rival. And I was right, my Croconaw easily eats it for breakfast with a bite. And then go ahead and name my rival Smiley Face because I will be smiling this entire run, but I'll probably be dying inside. We then get access to Pokeballs, so I go ahead and capture myself a Pidgey on my first try, which was very lucky because otherwise we probably would have taken some damage. I give him the most common nickname Burb, and I start grinding him up to level 13 so that he would learn Quick Attack, which is going to be our priority move for this entire run. Of course, the only thing my Pidgey can kill at this point in the game is the Kakunas. But once my Pidgey reached level 9, it went way smoother because now we can also one-shot the Weedles, and after that I could even one-shot Pidgeys until I reached level 13, then went up to youngster Joey and one-shotted his Rattata with a Quick Attack. Rattatas will be one of the most annoying things in this entire run because they almost always have Quick Attack. And youngster Joey's Rattata was no different, so that's why my PG had to be level 13. I then wrecked all of the other trainers with Quick Attack, not one of them could stand up to me, and I reached Sprout Tower. At the top I had to fight a very bald man, but not a very strong man. I one-shot his Bellsprout with a Gust from Pidgey. I did the calculations and a Bite should kill this Hoot, but I got a critical hit anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then his second Bellsprout also got one-shot by a Gust. Now that we know how to cut down trees, we can go ahead and grind up some more because we ain't taking on Faulkner with these low levels. First, I just grinded up Pidgey one more level so that I would have a Pidgeotto. And then I grinded up Croconaw up to level 21 so that he would learn Ice Fang. There is one problem with Ice Fang though, it isn't 100% accurate. It is 95% accurate though, so I shouldn't have that many problems with using it. I looked up Faulkner's team, but none of his Pokemon had any priority moves. Even though I thought his Pidgeotto had Quick Attack, it apparently doesn't, so I just Ice Fang both of his Pokemon to take them out and win my first gym badge. After that I had to fight some trainers and I got a big jump scare because this level 9 Nidoran didn't even die to a Gust from my Pidgeotto. Luckily, it didn't attack me, so I could just move. Oh wait, this trainer has a Goldeen. I didn't one-shot it, I got confused, I hit myself in my confusion, so I have to reset. Luckily, I just saved after I got my gym badge, so there is not really that much of a problem. I just know that I cannot take on that trainer right now. I then made my way up to the Slowpoke well, where we see that a Team Rocket Grunt is actually occupying it. I think he's trying to transform it into a nightclub because he's acting like a bouncer. And I went to Kurt because he loves beating up bouncers. And he got me into the super secret club. I easily beat up all the people in the club and then I have to face the boss, which is Proton. He has a level 8 Zubat and a level 12 Coughing. While the Zubat is an easy one-shot with a Quick Attack, I did do some calculations to see if my Croconaw could one-shot it at this level, and it should be, and I got the lowest roll possible. Which meant that it survived, but it didn't go for an attacking move, so I got very lucky on this one, being able to take it out without taking damage. After that, I knew that there was no way that I could take on Buxy or my rival fight at these low levels. So what I did is I went back to the cave and I went downstairs in the cave because the Pokemon there are higher level than at the upper level. The best Pokemon that I can encounter here is an Onix, which does give over 100 experience per kill. The other Pokemon are Geodude, Zubat, and Rattata, but I always try to avoid Rattata when I'm grinding up my Croconaw because they have Quick Attack. Zubats give the least amount of XP by far, so I'm happy once I see a Geodude or an Onix. I'd say I spent around 3 to 4 hours down here because it took me so long to grind up against these mons because they were just so low level compared to me, because normally right now you're at around level 20 in the game and I have to go 10 levels above that because I need my Feraligatr. Anyway, after Pidgeotto reached level 30, I then evolved my Croconaw at level 30 as well, now being able to learn Crunch, and with the calculations that I did, it should be able to one-shot the Scyther. But there is one more problem. This Scyther has Quick Attack, so I just have to pray to God that it doesn't use it. I could also go for the safe strategy and just grind up my Pidgeotto up to level 45 and then one-shot it with a Quick Attack, but that is just too much. I would still be here 5 hours later, so I'm just going to try and go with the RNG luck here. So I went into the fight with very high hopes, and the Scyther didn't go for Quick Attack and I didn't miss my Ice Fang, so it's basically good from now on. Since I'm double the level of our last two Pokemon, Kakuna and Metapod, I can crunch both of them to win the second batch and head on to the next rival battle. The rival fight went as expected, one-shotting the Ghastly with a Crunch, then using Ice Fang and not missing on the Bayleaf to one-shot that as well, and last up, Zubat also got one-shot by another Crunch because I didn't want to risk an Ice Fang. I had to play Bird Simulator for a few minutes until I got myself an HM that I could cut down trees with. We then go to Goldenrod City, get ourselves the radio card, and get access to Whitney's gym, which is probably one of the hardest for me to take down because Miltank is very bulky and it takes me quite a while until I can one-shot that. I thought about getting the matchup, but that meant that I could only level it up so far because eventually it would just stop obeying me, which is something I cannot risk. So the only thing that I could technically do here was just grind up my Feraligatr because that would take the least amount of time. And yes, I do now get access to the daycare, but I won't use it because I feel like it's a little bit cheap. And I don't really want to bike up and down for a few hours. I would rather get myself some EVs from the Pokemon that I defeat. This grass isn't the best to grind up in, but you can find Stantlers and Yanmas which do give a lot of XP, but I do also have to run from every Vulpix I see because they have quick attack. Eventually I did reach level 43 after about 2 hours of grinding, just to get denied by Miltank. I did the calculations and there was about an 85% chance that I would one-shot it, but I got the lowest roll possible once again, so the Miltank didn't go down. And of course it had to hit me with a stomp, so now I have to do all of that over again. So I then returned at level 45 and then I was able to one-shot the Clefairy with a crunch, and the Miltank also couldn't take a crunch anymore, so we can now finally head on to the next town. But before I reached that, there was another problem. There was a double battle right here with a Wigglytuff and a Clefable, but my Pidgeotto sadly enough couldn't one-shot any of their 2 Pokemon, so I got hit and I had to reset. So I could have just put my Pidgeotto into PC and turned it into a single battle, but I was a little bit stupid, so I just grinded up to a Pidgeot and then I was able to win the battle without taking any more damage. So of course next on our list is the Burn Tower, because if you don't complete it you cannot go to Morty, and I knew that with these levels I would easily be able to take on my rival because his Pokemon are around level 20. He starts off with a Ghastly who my Burp can one-shot with a Gust. I should have probably led with Feraligatr, but it was still fine. Next up is a level 18 Magnemite, and luckily Sturdy doesn't work the way it works in Gen 5, so they can never survive on 1 HP, and my Water Gun one-shots that as well. For Belief I once again had to go for the risky Ice Fang, but it paid off not missing and one-shotting it. Last up was Zubat, who I slashed in the face to win another rival battle. Then I went down into the basement, met up with these very cute doggies, but they were pretty scared of human contact, so they ran away. Next up is Morty, and you know, Morty would probably be a problem if the Gengar would outspeed, but since my Feraligatr is level 45, I can crunch my way through his entire team and win another gym badge without too much problems. We then went to visit the lighthouse. Which lighthouse runs on an Ampharos? I don't understand. Just one Pokemon keeps this lighthouse and millions of boats from crashing. This is a disaster. But before we can get the medicine, we have to go ahead and save a Kimono girl from a Team Rocket grunt. An old man in the audience is like, hey, I like that very much. I'm gonna give you the HM for serve. So with that, I now have a good water type move on my Feraligatr and I can head to Cyanwood. Since I already did some grinding on my Pidgeot all the way up to level 44 now, I tried to take a shot at Chuck. Of course without doing any calculations, because I thought, hey, I'm a flying type, I can easily one-shot a fighting type that's 13 levels below me, right? Well, wrong. It was left with still a little bit of HP remaining, so I knew I had to level up quite a few more times. And we then got hit with a body slam, so I had to reset back down to Morty, doing the whole lighthouse and all that shenanigans again. So this time I went to the water and I took on every single trainer that I could find in the entire ocean. They, however, couldn't really swim that well when they were fighting me in Pokemon battles, so a few of them went missing. My Pidgeot is now level 48 and I knew that even if I got the lowest roll, it would still one-shot the Poliwrath, so we could one-shot it now and get our 5th gym badge. I then ran into the blue doggy again, and apparently it's getting stalked by this Usean guy, so we're going to put an end to him. Luckily his first Pokemon Drowsy was one-shot by my Pidgeot's wing attack, and the rest of his Pokemon Electrode and Haunter got one-shot by a single Surf. I then went to the Lake of Rage and I got hit by the Gyarados because for some reason I decided to attack it. But this brought me on an idea, because I had to at least fight 2 Gyaradoses, or Gyarados or whatever, against Claire and against Lance, and I knew that I had to one-shot both of them, so I had to get myself an electric type. But I'll explain who I get in a minute. So I went all the way back to the Lake of Rage, but I now noticed that you do not have to beat this Gyarados, so I just ran away like a coward. After that I swatted the house with Lance because apparently this guy was downloading some illegal movies online, so of course we had to bust in. After clearing their entire hideout, of course we go to the basement and there is some electricity surge there, but before we can take that on, Ariana wants to have a little bit of a chat with us together with her Team Rocket grunt. Wait, Ariana? She has red hair? She's a pop star? Is this Ronald McDonald? But since Lance is our buddy here in this fight, we can surf away as much as we want. It doesn't matter that we hit our own Pokemon with it, because the Dragonite is not ours, we are not taking damage, Lance is. My Surf can one-shot 4 of their Pokemon, but then last up Ariana brings out a Gloom. Luckily, my Feraligator's Ice Fang doesn't miss and we can still take it out in one shot, so now we can easily disband their hideout, but we're not going to kill all of the Electrodes, we're actually going to capture one of them because this will be our Gyarados killer. That's exactly why I named it F for Schneck. I then forgot that I still had to take on the 6th gym, so I went to the lighthouse, gave them my secret potion. Jasmine is now a very happy girl, so we can finally access her gym. She specializes in steel types, of course, having 2 Magnemites and a Steelix. Normally these would all be pretty damn hard for me to take down because they would have sturdy in Gen 5 and above, but luckily this is Gen 4 as I told before, so we can serve the Magnemites and serve the Steelix, all to one-shot them with my tidal waves. After paying back the water damage to her gym, I went to the next one, which is Price, but while I was fighting the trainers in the gym, I ran into a Dugong and my Feraligator wasn't even able to one-shot it with a Crunch, and it's only level 27 and Price has an even higher leveled one. So we got hit with an Ice Shard, which meant that I had to reset and grind a little bit. And by a little bit, I meant 5 hours of grinding, because Electrode had to catch up with the rest of the team. Which meant that he had to reach level 50, which at this point in the game is just ludicrous. Also, did you know that Electrode has probably one of the worst level up movesets of any electric type Pokemon? The best electric type special move he learns is Charge Beam. So I looked up where to get the TM for Thunderbolt, and apparently you can only get it via winning the Voltorb Flip minigame and getting enough coins for it. But I'm not gathering 10,000 coins just to get Thunderbolt. That would take me at least 5 hours to do, which I don't want to spend, so I'll just grind up a little bit more with Electrode and one-shot it with a Charge Beam eventually. Even though Thunderbolt could save me huge amounts of time. The spot where I decided to grind up my Electrode was down at the Seafoam Islands first, because Tentacles and Tentacruels are not that bad for XP, definitely not Tentacruels, which can give over 600 each. Eventually though, I reached a level where I could one-shot more Pokemon than just water types, so I went to the round down at the Safari Zone where there are Giraffarigs and Tauroses, which both give very good amounts of XP. There's also a Gloom there, which also doesn't give bad XP, but there are also Vulpixes here with quick attacks, so I have to avoid those. After doing all of my calculations, I knew that I had to be level 52 in order to one-shot a level 32 Dugong with an Electrode's Charge Beam. Yeah, Electrode isn't the best electric type now, is it? But it's super fast, so I will never have problems without speeding. We then go into the fight with Price, one-shot his first Pokemon Seal with a Charge Beam, then Piloswine comes out, so I have to go into Feraligator to one-shot that with a Surf. After that, Dugong comes out, switch back into Electrode, Charge Beam that, and it's dead, and we now have 7 gym badges. I then went to the Radio Tower to try and take that thing on, but I didn't look up the Grunts Pokemon in this one, and an Arbok would Intimidate, so my Pidgeot's Wing Attack didn't one-shot and we got hit, so I had to reset. Then after that, I just killed it with my Feraligator, swept the entire building, and went down to the basement to fight my rival. I knew his lead Pokemon was going to be Golbat, so I led off with Electrode and I went for the Charge Beam to kill it in one hit. Next up is Sneasel, and I knew that even a boosted Charge Beam wouldn't take that thing out, so I just went into Feraligator to surf it. Next up was Meganium, and I didn't want to risk my Feraligator's Ice Fang because it always has the potential to miss, so I went into Pidgeotto, Wing Attacked it, and it was still enough to take it out. Magnemite was an easy surf from Feraligator, and last up was another Haunter, which we can also one-shot with basically any move that's able to hit it, because its defenses are so damn low. I then saved the Radio Director, and then it was time for us to head back to the Radio Tower and go to the section that wasn't available to us yet. The first real admin we have to fight is Proton, but he just has 2 Pokemon Golbat and Weezing, which my Feraligator can take care of very easily with some surfs. Next up is Ariana once again, so I decide to stay in with my Feraligator against their Vileplume, which was a big mistake because I thought Ice Fang could easily one-shot it at this point, but it wasn't enough, so we got hit and again had the reset. Luckily, my last save point was after the rival fight, since that is the rule that I implemented into the game, so I just had to do the entire basement and then kill Proton again until I got back up to Ariana, and this time I one-shotted her Vileplume with my Pidgeot's wing attack. Her final Pokemon was a Murkrow, which is very bad defensively, so my Electrode can kill it with another Charge Beam, and then it's on to Archer, the admin of Team Rocket. But Archer's team consists of a Houndour, a Coughing, yes, a Coughing, not even a Wheezing, and a Houndoom, which all can easily get one-shotted by a Surf from Fraligator. So with that, we have stopped Team Rocket's evil scheme, and now we can traverse our way to the next town, actually the final town of this video, except for the Pokemon League. You have to go through the cold, icy path and battle all of the Swineups in there, which honestly was not a problem whatsoever. And then I went back to the Safari Zone to grind up my Fraligator up to level 63, and I also got rid of Strength, because at level 63 he could learn Superpower, which is the strongest move right now that he can learn that is physical. And as the last gym leader is Claire, you know that I'm going to be needing some huge firepower to take her down. Okay, you know, most of her team is easily counterable with my team, but her last Pokemon, Kingdra, really isn't a cakewalk. There is a 22 level difference between my Fraligator and her Kingdra. Fraligator has a decent physical attacking stat, Superpower is an amazing move that is very, very powerful, and still somehow the Kingdra survived. It wasn't even close to KOing it, so I knew I had to grind up a lot more, which meant that I had to reset and do all of those levels again, which took me hours. Because I had to do the entire Team Rocket shenanigans thing again from the last rival fight, and after that I didn't want to do it for a fourth time, and I didn't want to take any risks anymore, so I grinded up my Fraligator by a huge margin, all the way up to 71. And for the people that are saying, oh, your Pidgeot has Twister, why didn't you just grind up your Pidgeot? Twister is super effective. Well, Superpower is still better than Twister, since it's only 40 base power and Superpower is 120. Twister is also a special move, and Pidgeot's special attack isn't the best. With my level 71 Fraligator, I marched back to her gym, starting off with my Pokeball, first against her giant snake. Snakes are weak against tasers, so it went down very easily. The next two Pokemon were two Dragonairs, so my Fraligator took those down with Ice Fangs without missing a single one once again, and finally Kingdra came out. I was still a little bit afraid of Superpower not one-shotting, but I did the calculations, there should be no way this thing survives, and I was right, and we now have 8 gym badges. Wait, no, we don't, because she doesn't want to give it to us because we're apparently not worthy of a gym badge. So she makes us go to the bingo club and solve a quiz or something. After that, she's like, oh my god, I have never won a bingo before, I will now give you a gym badge. But it's not time for us to head to Victory Road yet, because in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you cannot skip the Lugia or Ho-Oh event. So first off, we have to go to the Kimono House and challenge all of the Kimono girls with her evolutions. Since they are all separate fights, it doesn't matter that I use Superpower on the first Umbreon, because next time my stats will be reset. Then we can one-shot the Espeon with a Crunch. Flareon and Jolteon both go down to Surfs, and last is Vaporeon. And I know Vaporeon is very bulky and has a lot of HP, but still my Superpower was strong enough to kill the fish thingy. We then went to the Seafoam Islands to see how the Kimono girls dance to summon a mighty bird in a cave. How do they even come up with it? But it is one of the coolest animations in DS history though. I then chugged my Master Ball at it, which was not a good idea because I could have used that on Mewtwo to try and take on Red at the end of the game, but of course I'm stupid and I used it on Lugia. With that out of the way, let's fight our rival one last time in this video. Fraligator took care of the Sneasel with a Surf, the Meganium with an Ice Fang, the Magneton with another Surf, Haunter with a Crunch, Kadabra again with a Crunch, and Golbat with one more Ice Fang, and now we can head on to the Pokemon League, starting off with Will. As you've seen, for my Fraligator's moveset, I have Crunch in my arsenal, which meant that I could one-shot Xatu, Jinx, Exeggutor, Slowbro, and this last Xatu as well without ever being hit or ever being in any kind of danger. I wish the rest of the Elite Four member fights went like this. I knew I wasn't going to get far because my Feraligatr was not going to be able to sweep everything, and the sweeping already ended at fight numero dos. I then did some calculations on every single Pokemon of the Pokemon League so to see how much I would have to grind up to beat them. Koga was the second Elite Four member, and he had two Pokemon which I couldn't one-shot at this point in time because his Crobat and Muk would both tank Surfs. On Bruno there are two more problems, being Machamp and Hitmonchan. We all know how bulky Machamp is, and in order for my Pidgeot to one-shot it, I would have to grind it up even more than I would have to grind my Feraligatr, so I'm just going to have to grind Feraligatr up more than Pidgeot, because Pidgeot is the next section. The only thing Pidgeot has to kill in the entire Elite Four is the Vileplume. And for that to happen, it had to be level 60. But that is not the final problem. The final problem is actually Gyarados. Even though Electrode is 4 times super effective against it, at this level it is not able to one-shot it, so I had to grind him up as well. After doing my calculations, I knew that my Feraligatr had to be level 82 for my Surf to basically one-shot even at the lowest roll. So that's exactly what I did. I went to the Victory Road because that's now my best way of getting EXP on Feraligatr, and I flooded that entire cave with Surf so that all of the Golbats, Rhyhorns, everything in there gave me enough XP to reach level 82. This yet again took me another hour to do because the EXP rates aren't that great. Pidgeot and Electrode both had to be level 60 in order to one-shot Vileplume and Gyarados, which did take a little bit over 1 hour as well, so with that out of the way, we can now take on the Elite Four. Since you've already seen me beat Will, I will just go on to Koga straight away. With my Feraligatr now able to one-shot the Ariados with a Surf, the Fortress tried to protect itself with a Protect, but it wasn't enough. One more Surf and it was down. His last two Pokemon, Muk, Venomoth, and Crobat also all went down to a single Surf, and I flooded his entire chamber and got the hell out of there so that I could reach Bruno. Another thing about Bruno is that two of his Pokemon have priority moves in Quick Attack on Hitmontop and Bullet Punch on Hitmonchan, but still I feel like that should not be a problem for me since the Hitmonchan is definitely not going to use Bullet Punch on me, and there is a very small chance of Hitmontop using Quick Attack, so I just took the risk and went for the Surf on the Hitmontop, and it paid off. Otherwise, I would have done that grinding all over again and probably would have grinded Pidgeot all the way up to level 100 to see if it could Quick Attack the Hitmontop to death. Hitmonchan might have been able to survive last time, but this time he is out of here. Hitmonlee isn't bulky at all, so he is out of here too, but Machamp is still something I'm a bit afraid for. I know I did the calculations, it should be right. I should be able to one-shot it no matter what, but still, I was afraid. But I managed to defeat him. Last up was Onyx, and that thing couldn't tank a Surf, of course, and then we can move on to Karen. Insert Karen manager joke here, because we always do that. And then Umbreon is her first Pokemon, and of course my superpower is able to one-shot it. For Vileplume I went into Pidgeot, and now I can one-shot it with a Wing Attack. Gengar gets absolutely flooded by a Surf from Feraligatr. Houndoom might be fast, but not as fast as my Crocodile, so my Surf kills that a Hound as well. And last but not least is Murkrow, which we can also one-shot. And now it's time for Lance, the Dragon Master. He might be a Dragon Master, but 3 of his Pokemon aren't even Dragon type, starting off with Gyarados, which my ball can now easily one-shot with a Charge Beam. I mean, not easily, it's very close. Next up is his level 50 Dragonite, so I go into Feraligatr and I have to hit 3 Ice Fangs at least in this entire battle, which is honestly not that hard since it's only 95% accurate, but there is always a chance that I miss one. But luckily I could one-shot the first Dragonite, not missing my Ice Fang, one-shot the second Dragonite without missing, and the third one as well, so pretty lucky right there. The last 2 Pokemon are Charizard and Aerodactyl, which we can both take down with a Surf. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Not really though, it really wasn't easy. It was probably one of my longest runs yet. and it isn't even finished yet. So that's the main story of Pokemon Soul Silver without taking any damage. If you really would love to see the second part, which I will be doing in the upcoming weeks, make sure to smash that like button down below. It really gives me the motivation to work on it way quicker. But I really think it's going to be 10 times as hard because the Elite 4 member and champion rematch is way harder. You have to beat Blue, you have to beat Red. All of those are very good trainers, and I think I'm going to need a lot more strategizing in the second part of this video. If you've made it this far, comment down below with hashtag second part and I will make sure to bring that to you. I of course want to thank my membership and Patreon supporters. You can get a Minecraft Pixelmon server to you and all of the other Swamp Squad members to play on. So if you want to join up, you can click the join button or the link in the description. You can also support the channel by buying merch. We have some amazing designs available, mugs, pillows, everything and anything you want. Just check out the description, everything is there. With that out of the way, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and share this video with your friends. My name is Zwigo and I'll see you guys next time.